Love lives here. When the world gets you down and you're feeling lonely, when you can't find your truth or find your center, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we love each other, and the scars that we see just make us stronger. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. When life gets you down, you can't see the future. When it all seems too much for you to handle, there are many here who gather together. Oh, unconditionally, we pray together, and the hurt that you feel will be set free. We breathe it in together, we'll hold you up with grace. We know that love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here in you and me. Love lives here. My soul breaks free. I'm so excited to be united with you. Where love lives, where love lives. Love lives here.
Good morning, everybody. This is Reverend Jeffrey Ryan. I am coming to you live from my living room. I have the honor and pleasure and the distinct honor and pleasure to serve this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, where love lives here. If you are joining us on Facebook this morning, make sure that you use those hashtags. Make sure you check in and start a watch party, and make sure you use those hashtags We Are CSL and hashtag Love Lives Here. And if you are watching us this morning, put in the chat there, good morning, and tell us where you're watching us from. If you're watching us from Riverside or Las Vegas or Moreno Valley or the East Coast, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from. So if you're watching, put in where you're watching from. It'd be great to know that too. It is the first Sunday of September, and so we are already in September. I can't believe how quickly this summer seems to have just flown by, yet March seems like 3 years ago, and I don't even remember how long ago January was at this point, but time just kind of keeps marching on in this really weird way. But it is the beginning of September, and so the very first Sunday of the month, we want to acknowledge all of the birthdays that are happening in September. So if you are celebrating your birthday in September, know that we wish you a happy and joyous and joy-filled birthday. I know that Shawnee's was on Friday and Anita Nace's is tomorrow. So happy birthday to the two of you and the countless others who are celebrating their birthdays this month. And if you are celebrating an anniversary this month, we honor you as well. The many years of love that you are sharing with your beloved. So congratulations to all of you as well. It is such a joy to have you with us this morning. We are in a new month. We're in a new cycle. So we are starting with different music this morning. So this morning we're starting with Stayed on Spirit. It's a traditional song that Ricky Byers has put her own spin on and that we are going to sing together. So if you are, as you're able, go ahead and sing out loud in your living room or your dining room or your bedroom, wherever you are singing from and joining us from this morning. Go ahead and sing it out loud. And here we go, Jabal.
All right, this is a new song. Sing with me. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Again, let's do it. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning in my mind, stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive.
Good morning. I'm Constance Stringfellow, one of the licensed spiritual practitioners here at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I invite you to close your eyes if it's comfortable for you, and let's go within. Breathing in deeply, breathing in love, and breathing out love. Consciously allowing yourself to connect with God, the oneness of all life. Knowing that God is the very air that we breathe. God, the one power in the universe, infinite and eternal. All that was created and exists is from this one power. God is perfect love, peace, and wholeness. God is wisdom, honor, clarity, and compassion. God is divine intelligence, beauty, joy, and abundance. But God is so much more than this. I know that there's no situation or place where God is not present. God is all inclusive. I'm one with all that God is, and as I know this truth for myself, I know this is true for everyone everywhere. I surrender to this divine energy of love, carefully listening to the inner voice, opening my heart to this empowered consciousness, knowing that with faith nothing is impossible. I know that we're called to be God's love in action. We're powerful beings made in the likeness and image of God. With faith the size of a mustard seed, we can bring about positive changes in the world. I know that we are in conscious union with God at all times. With faith and believing, we can move through great opportunities to serve and to create. I know that we're called to be the light of God. We're called to be the transformative power of love, supporting each other on our to our highest potential. We're called to recognize this one power, this invisible power that cannot be harmed. It guides and supports us, even in uncertain circumstances. We can move confidently through life, putting fear in its place. I honor this alignment with this higher self, knowing that God's grace is sufficient in all things. I'm grateful for this divine genius showing up as each one of us. I bless this service and I know that it unfolds in perfect divine order. And I just let it be so. And so it is.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me, in me. Where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty flowing free. For where I died, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort here. Where I see, God is the answer here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I play, God is playing boldly in and out and through me, as me. Where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and live. God is. God is. God is. God is.
Thank you, Jubel. So let's say our focus statement together, shall we? So with all the V's, vim, vigor, velocity, vivaciousness, voluptuousness, vivacity, vivaciousness, all of the V's, let's say it together. And let's say it from a heartfelt place, an intentional place, shall we? Here we go. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Let me hear that from you one more time. Here we go. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Wonderful. I love when we share that together. It's so invigorating to keep our mind focused and stayed on spirit, right? That's what it's part of what it's about. What it is that we're doing with that statement is to keep ourselves focused on our mission, focused on our vision, focused on our values. We here at Centers for Spiritual Living and here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living have been working with the theme of 2020 Global Vision for this year. The 2020 Spiritual Vision. There we go. 2020 Spirit. Michelle just gave me this like doggy head look like, 2020 Spiritual Vision is the theme that we are working with this year here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living and Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide. And the theme for this month is facing our fears, or facing the fear. And the topic that we are looking at and exploring today is we are. Because when we face our fears, in order to begin facing our fears, we have to first realize who we are. That is where we need to anchor in. That is what we need to become most aware of and most in alignment with. We need to know who we are. If we don't know who we are, then all of the things coming at us in our day-to-day lives can buffet us and push us and pull us and make us feel topsy-turvy. And, it can feel very unsettling and very unstable. So we need to know who we are. That's the first thing. We need to know who we are. And we need to know who we are being called to become. So we need to know who we are, and we need to have a sense of direction of who we are called to become or who we are becoming, right? Those are two key factors in order to feel a little bit more stability so that when life does kind of push and pull and shove and, does a roller coaster ride a little bit, or you see something on the television or in your Facebook feed that maybe knocks you off your God spot, right? Your little piece of God that we talked about, last year, that POG, that piece of God, POG, right? And your peace, PEACE of God, we're less likely to get knocked off of that when we remember who we are and what it is that we are becoming. So who are we? Who are we? Who are you? Are you your name? Are you this meat spacesuit that you're wearing? Are you your job? Are you your labels? Who are you? I ask that because, excuse me, when we remember who we are with the capital H, capital H and capital W, WHO, the who of who we are, when we remember the who in capitals, then everything else is an individualized, beautiful expression of that one who that we are. And so when we remember who we are, the who, the capital WHO, when we remember that who, that we are one with the one, that we are in alignment with the one, that we are the one power, the one presence, the one life made manifest right here on earth, right here and right now, that we are the divine itself, that each and every one of us is the divine, is spirit, is God, is whatever name you choose to call it, the universe. When we remember that the who of who we are at the very corner, at the very center of our being, the core of our being, is that divinity, is that oneness, is that wholeness, is that perfection. When we remember that, then we have the opportunity to remember that everybody else And everything else that we see is also that, because there is only one here. We all teach that God is all there is. God is all there is. There is nothing else. Love is all there is. There is nothing else. That is the who of who we are. So if God is all there is, then that must mean that that is who we are. We cannot be anything other than the divine. We cannot be anything other than that. And there cannot exist anything outside of that, despite appearances, despite what we may be seeing, despite unskilled behaviors by a lot of people running around in the world right now. There we have the opportunity to see past the behavior to the very essence of who each is. And when we do that, when we remember that, then we're coming from a principled place. We're coming from a place where I don't have to like your behavior. I don't have to like the way you're showing up. I don't have to like the way you're expressing yourself right now. But if I can remember that this too is God, that this beloved is the divine, that this beloved or beloveds or group of beloveds are also emanations and impartations of the one life, then I am called to remember that we are all siblings, that there is not a place where I stop and they begin, that in fact there is no other, there is only the one. So if I'm watching TV or I'm scrolling through Facebook or Insta and I'm seeing things that do not fit and that are not in alignment with my worldview, then I have the opportunity to first go and remember who I am. And then remember who they are. Because frequently what's happened is either I have forgotten who I am, or they have forgotten who they are, or maybe we collectively have forgotten who we are. So there is an opportunity to call ourselves back to remember who we are. Remember that we are part of an organization that has values. We are part of an organization that has a vision. We are part of an organization that has core concepts of what it is that we believe, what it is that we know to be spiritual truth. You see, when we remember that we are one with the one, we remember that one with the divine, one with God is a majority. And that anything, if God is for us, then none and nothing could be against us because it is all one. That there could be no power over me unless it was given thee of God. Thou couldst have no power over me unless it's given thee of God. So what we know is that there is human power at work. There is the human scene at work. But what we also know is that transcending that, there is the spiritual. And so we have the opportunity to lift ourselves above the human scene into the spiritual and invite the spiritual idea, the spiritual identity through us. And we invite ourselves to be the power and the presence made manifest in every situation, in every encounter. Whether it be a loving encounter with our families or our puppy dogs, or whether it be an encounter that challenges us. We have the opportunity, not only the opportunity, but we have the responsibility as people of faith to be that power and to be that presence made manifest. To bring that forth. That is who we are. That is who we are. We have the opportunity to remember that. So we have the opportunity to remember that we are part of, as I mentioned, we are part of a global organization. A global organization that has values, that has vision, that has principles. And these values, this vision, these principles are definitely needed in this time. So who are we as an organization? We are an organization where all life is honored as expressions of the divine, where people live according to spiritual truth, where humanity awakens to its spiritual magnificence, where each person rediscovers their personal creative power, where we live as one global family, where kinship with all life prospers, where unity and connection is emphasized, where forgiveness is the norm, where spiritual guidance is valued, where we are called to conscious social action, where people have enough food, homes, and a sense of belonging, where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all, where resources are valued, cared for, and shared, where communities are meaningfully involved in service to the world, where there is a renewed emphasis on beauty, nature, creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation. That is what we hold to be true. That is what we know to be true here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide. That is who we are. That is who we are. And so who are we becoming? Who are we becoming? What are we called to become? Because without vision, without seeing forward, without looking forward, we're stuck in the mire of what is. So the other way to face a fear is to, one, know who you are, who we are. The next is to look forward, because what we know is evolution is forward. Our feet point forward for a reason, right? They don't point that way. They point that way. Evolution is a forward motion. It's a forward movement. It is an upward spiral that is occurring, that we can either be part of or we can resist. And if we resist, then it's just a matter of us getting pulled, and the struggle is going to be real, and the struggle is going to be difficult, and the resistance to the change, the resistance to the evolution is going to be painful. Or we can stand with open arms and we can embrace the high idea. We can embrace the vision that is unfolding. And we can keep our mind stayed on spirit. We can keep our mind stayed on the vision, keeping our mind right there and allowing the vision to pull us toward it. Because the vision is already done in the mind of God. The vision is already complete. We just open up and allow and catch the vision, catch the high idea, and then step into it and move forward in it. Releasing the things that no longer serve us, embracing those things that we are called to embrace. As you know, I am the chair of the visioning team for Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide. And it has been such a blessing this summer and this year since March to be leading the visioning team and to be visioning with all of these different leadership groups across our worldwide organization. Visioning for them, visioning for the highest idea of their work in the world as it relates to the larger work of Centers for Spiritual Living. And I've also had the opportunity to vision with communities around the world. And of course, we have our Vision Corps here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living as well. Then we meet the first Sunday of every month. And so the Vision Corps will be meeting again a little bit later today. But what is so exciting, what is so amazing as I've been doing all this visioning with all of these different groups is that it's the same vision coming through time and time again, regardless of what the organization is or what the group is. And of course, we know, you and I know, that this is how visioning works, right? That there is this high idea. But what is so beautiful to see is this high idea for Centers for Spiritual Living unfolding through all of these seemingly they're coordinated and collaborating, but all of these different entities within our larger organization. That now more than ever, our organization is catching a higher idea of itself. We at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living are catching a higher idea for ourselves, for our community as well. So what is this high idea that the centers that we've been catching so far? The high idea right now is that we are a global leader. We are a global leader because we have the tools to lead the world, in liberation and transformation, global transformation. We have the tools. We know how to do this. You've heard us talk about it all summer. We know how to do it. You first have to change a thought. You have to begin to change and open up to the high idea and begin changing your thought, begin changing your beliefs, begin changing the ways you show up and the ways we show up and the ways we take action, and the ways we behave, become a different pattern, a different habit. And then we can create different structures and different systems. New, better, more inclusive, equitable structures and systems that then advance us all in a world that works for everyone in all of creation. Our high idea, our high vision. So first, we're seeing that there is this global transformation. We are being called to be a global leader. And here at Riverside, we are called to be a leader in our community. We are called to be a leader in the city of Riverside, in the county of Riverside, and in the inland valleys and beyond. We've seen it in visioning time and time again, the Vision Corps for Riverside CSL. We've seen it. We see this community sharing what we know, sharing the tools, the techniques that we have, the spiritual tools, the spiritual practices that we have, the spiritual principles that we have, sharing this into the larger and wider community, and we are making a difference. We are absolutely making a difference. Members of our center sit on commissions and committees for the city itself. Members of our center sit on councils, the Interfaith Council, as well as other community organizing groups. Members of our center are actively engaged and participating in creating a Riverside that works for all. We're doing it locally, and we're having a larger impact on our community and on our region. And how beautiful is that to see that leadership taking place, not just from me and practitioners, but from our community as a whole, stepping in greater ways, greater engagement, because engagement is another piece of the larger vision for Centers for Spiritual Living and us too. Engagement keeps coming through time and time again, getting proximate, engaging with people, engaging with the issues, engaging with one another, coming together and connecting with one another. Making those personal connections, making those lifelong connections, making those connections between thoughts and ideas, making those connections amongst organizations, being the glue and making connections, developing connections. And when we develop those connections and we're working together, we are opening up a way for even greater possibilities to come through that never were before. And so connection, innovation, and creativity is what is being called forth right now as well, with this high idea, this high vision, that we are being called to be innovative in these times. We're called to be creative in these times. We're called to look for something new, look at something new, and have a fresh new idea, a fresh new perspective, and bring that forward and present that. And we are being called to release old structures, old paradigms, old ideas, old belief systems that no longer work, that hold us back. They brought us to the point where we are right now, but they cannot take us forward. And so we release them with gratitude and with love and with appreciation for what has been, where they have brought us to this point. And now it is time to step forward in greater ways, to let them go, to release them, to learn from them, and to shift. Shift is another one. Shifting into something new. So there is a call. Part of the high idea is a willingness to step forward, a willingness to move forward. And what we know from Michael Beckwith is where there is a willingness, there is a way, and where there is a willfulness, there is a wall. So it is an opportunity for us to open, another one, be open and available. Be willing to lean into the new. Be willing to lean into the discomfort and embrace it. Embrace the new. Lean into it. Be willing to explore. Be willing to be curious. Be willing to have life be different. Not from a place of willfulness, not from a place of ego desire, not from a place of personal agenda, not from a place of I'm going to advance my personal thing, or this group is going to advance their thing that only works for them. That doesn't work, right? That's a willfulness. And where there is a willfulness, as Michael said, there is a wall. There's a resistance, there's a barrier. As we see, there's a barrier, there's a wall that's being built, right? Literally and figuratively, there is a wall where there is a willfulness. So there's an opportunity for us to have a willingness to step forward into the greater yet to be. As I mentioned, there's the connection and the connectivity, and there is this sense of intimacy that is wanting to occur right now. Even though there is this global expansion, and the expansion and expansiveness is part of the high idea, even though there is this sense of expansion, there is also this sense of deep intimacy and deep connection. So right here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, starting later this month, we will be launching what we call spirit groups. We are now a spirit groups community. We are a community that is moving into a greater, newer way of being able to be intimate and connecting with one another in smaller group sizes, in more personal group sizes, so that we establish and we really build upon these infinite connections that we already have. And we can deepen and strengthen these connections that we already have here in this community, but we can take them even deeper with this program of small group ministry, if you will, called Spirit Groups. And I am really excited that we have 8 groups that will be starting at the end of the month. And you'll be hearing more about this next week and the following week. But I really want to encourage you to think about stepping in and leaning into one of these groups. It is not just a social hour. It's not just a book study. It's so much more. It's an opportunity to come together, to share with one another, to be in each other's presence, to commune with one another, to be in community with one another around spiritual topics, but also in fun, exciting new ways. That there are components of fun, there's components of service, there's components of study, but mostly it is about really deepening our connection and strengthening our community because of these connections. So this is what's coming here, and I am so excited that we are bringing this program, this idea, this ministry model to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, because it really is about caring for one another and being connected with one another in ways that we have not necessarily been before, and that will take us deeper and will allow us to expand and grow, but yet still remain intimately connected. I am thrilled by that. It brings me so much joy, because I know that here in this community, we are full of love. We really love on each other a lot, and it's been somewhat challenging in the past 6 months. How do we do that? So here is one way of doing that. So I hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity to get connected, to really come together and get connected with one another. Beyond Sunday morning, beyond classes, beyond everything else that we offer, there's a real opportunity for deep connection here and now. So I want to leave you with a statement about who we are here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. So let's just breathe in and out. And I invite you to take this in as I share this with you and feel the resonance within you. We, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion and equity, sees the holiness in all life, and understand that uniqueness is not sameness. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of the divine that each person embodies, advocates for human rights and dignity for all, and is committed to our collective liberation and global transformation. We are a community that champions inner work, blesses each other, listens to and learns from one another so that we can grow together, and create space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that values infinite connections with spirit and with each other. We are a community that emboldens each other to live our highest potential through the transformative power of love. We are Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, and we know that the beloved community is revealed when we love each other well. We are the place where God shows up, where God lives, moves, breathes, and has its being. We are Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Love lives here. And so let's come together in consciousness. Breathing in, I feel the breath maintaining and sustaining its beloved creation, maintaining and sustaining me, maintaining and sustaining all of life, all of creation, that it brought forth through itself, of itself, as itself. There is only this one power, this one presence, this one life, this one eternal beingness, this one isness that is all that there is. It is the very totality of being itself. It is the ground, consciousness is the ground of being. And so I know that God is all there is, love is all there is, peace is all there is, joy is all there is. I recognize that there is just only this one. And so I remember who I am. I remember that I am that I am. I remember that I am one with the one. It is moving, living, breathing, and having its being as me and I as it. I am inseparable from this one. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone here this day. Everyone who ever hears this message, and all of life, all of creation, whether it's heard or not by individuals, I know that each one is the divine made manifest. Each one is the power and the presence of the one life. Each one is the power and the presence of love, and each one is transformed and liberated by it, through it, as it. So I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, our beloved Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, recognizing that each one here, gathered here this day, is the divine emanation and impartation of spirit. Each one is one. Each one is part of the grand whole, the totality of the whole, and yet each one is the whole itself, the microcosm of the macrocosm. And I know that our community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, is part of a grander whole, a larger whole that is moving forward, evolutionarily moving forward in love, as love, being the presence of love in our city, in our community, in the inland valleys. That we are part of a larger organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, that has a global vision, but is also being called to fulfill that vision, being pulled closer to it through innovation, creativity, connection, community, expansion, growth, intimacy. That we are being called individually and collectively to step forward and claim our rightful place, claim our rightful dominion as the power and the presence of love. And we are being called forth now here to allow that to express through each one of us out into our world. And as we do, we liberate one another, we liberate ourselves, and we liberate one another, and we transform life here on the planet. We are creating a world that works for everyone in all of creation, individually and collectively, and as Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide. This is our time. We remember who we are. We know who we are. We know where we are going. And so no matter what comes our way, no matter what may be buffeting us, no matter what fears may arise, we stand and we face them in confidence and in faith, remembering that we are that I am, the I am that I am. And that we remember that one with this I am is a majority. Nothing could be opposed to it. Nothing could hamper it. Nothing could move it off of its center. That there is just this one, and it is impenetrable. It is the unconditional love that each is. And so anything unlike it is simply dispelled and is simply returns back into the nothingness from which it arose. And this is where I keep my mind stayed this day. Stayed on spirit. Today and every day throughout my day, return my mind, keep my mind stayed on spirit. Stayed on love. And in so doing, we are free. So I give thanks for this realization. I give thanks for this demonstration. I give thanks for this time together this morning. I give thanks for each one present here this day, knowing that each is the beauty, the perfection, the wholeness, that when remembered sets us free. And so I release this word into the law, knowing that it is already done. I simply let it be, and so it is.
Hi, you guys. This is such a great song. Thank you, Jeffrey, for giving it to me. And this is amazing Matt Steelman on the drums with me. This is called Amazing Things. 2, 3. You will do amazing things with the choice that each day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing. that you'll go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on your right track. No need look ahead or back. Just enjoy the day that brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay here in the here and now. Let your mind just rest a while. Oh, a while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. Close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things.
Hey there. Thank you. I love that song by Megan McDonough and Janice Stanfield, made popular, of course, really popular, even more popular by the wonderful Reverend Dr. Michael Gott. So thank you, Jabel. So this is the moment when, well, you have every moment. Every moment is this moment, actually. But this is the point in our time together, our gathering on Sunday mornings, when I invite you to consciously contribute to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. You are making such a difference. What I know is that it is Spirit as you, giving through you into the larger, greater community. And so I really appreciate all of your conscious contributions. We appreciate all of your conscious contributions. Each person who makes up Riverside Center for Spiritual Living and who is touched by the work that we collectively are doing in the world is undeniably just like mind-blowingly grateful for your conscious contribution. So the easiest way to make a conscious contribution, one of the easiest ways, is via your phone. Just like that, you simply type in, you can text to give, simply type in 951-419-5858, and then type in the amount you're choosing to contribute this morning. Simply type that in and hit send, and it's that easy. So this is one way of doing it. Another way of contributing that's easy for you is to go to our website, riversidecsl.org, and in the upper right-hand corner, you will see the word contribute, and you can contribute there. You can also set up recurring contributions if you'd like to do that. And if you'd like to contribute to the Two or More Fund, the fund that helps maintain the maintenance of our facility, because even though we are not gathering at the facility still needs some love and some attention. So the way you can contribute there is through the Two or More Fund, which is also up in the right-hand corner under the contribute sign of our website, Riverside CSL. So we're bringing a favorite back as we are taking a moment to contribute to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. We're bringing a favorite back, an Amy Steinberg favorite. And Jabel, here we go. Dripping in love. So rich.
All right, we love this. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich. have everything we need. Dripping in joy, dripping in peace, dripping in love. We have everything we need. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So rich.
Thank you. So just a few announcements before we hop on over for Beyond the Message. We'll be hopping over to our Zoom room for Beyond the Message, where we'll be able to engage each other in conversation around today's topic. So that is, you'll find our Zoom room at Zoom ID 249-395-737. That's Zoom ID 249-395-737. And we'll be hopping over there right around the top of the hour, just as we finish here. So make sure you join us over there in just a few minutes. I do want to remind you, as I spoke about in the message, we do have spirit groups coming. So stay tuned for that. We'll be sharing more about spirit groups, how you can sign up for spirit groups, and what spirit groups are forming, and how you can sign up for that. You'll be hearing more about that next weekend and the following weekend for a kickoff event at the end of the month. So we are super excited to be bringing this to you. So check that out, coming soon. Also this week, Friday, on Facebook at 3 p.m. Pacific time, spiritual leader, CSL spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen will be having a conversation with Deepak Chopra. So he'll be having a conversation with him on the Science of Mind magazine Science of Mind magazine Facebook page. Again, that will be happening at 3 p.m. Pacific. Also, Deepak Chopra will be with us on October 5th with Centers for Spiritual Living. On October 5th, we are having a special event that is for Centers for Spiritual Living, our Centers for Spiritual Living communities. And Dr. Deepak Chopra will be with us then. And Reverend Sonia Byrne will also be interviewing him at the end of his presentation there. It is only $40 to register, and you get a copy of his newest book with that $40 registration. So make sure you check that out, October 5th. If you haven't gotten our email recently, make sure that you write to the office at riversidecsl.org to make sure you get on our email list. And then finally, on the 21st of September is the United Nations International World Day of Peace. And that is happening on the 21st, as I mentioned, Monday the 21st. We are having two events at the center at 7 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. It'll be outdoors, socially distanced, and masks are required. But we'll be having that and their opportunity to participate in creating peace flags for the World Day of Peace at those two different times. So we invite you to join us for that as well. I want to thank Jubel. I want to thank Constance. I want to thank Michelle and Ed and Matt and all of our beloveds who help bring this to you every Sunday. And I want to thank all of you for being with us this day. Happy birthday to Gabby Ennison. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Gabby. Happy birthday to Frank. Happy birthday to Constance and Bill Stringfellow. So happy birthday, one and all. We are so excited that you are here, that you chose to be on the planet at this time with us, and that you choose to be part of this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. So say with me, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. And I receive it because love lives here. Happy Sunday, everybody. I love you. Peace and blessings. And here we go.
All right. Happy September, you guys. Happy birthday, everybody. Here we go. I know you know this is so fun. I'm missing you right now. I'm gonna lay down my heart and sing right here in Riverside. in Riverside, right here in Riverside. Gonna lay down my heart and sing, right here in Riverside, right here in Riverside. Have a great Sunday. See you next week.
Love lives here.